Yes, hello everybody. We are still doing our work here at the ESL Arena in Katowice, of course for the ESL 1 major qualifiers. Now, things take a turn for potentially the more interesting here as well. This is my favourite word to use if you've been keeping count at home. Now we go to the teams that are 2 wins and 1 loss. So, there's not a great deal to lose here because these two teams still stay in the competition even if they drop this game, but winners, of course, will qualify for the major itself, and that is huge. So for those that are hungry for getting into Lanxess Arena, this match means absolutely everything. And we've got an interesting matchup as well. It is going to be HellRaisers on one side, starting off quite strong there as well before falling down to G2 on Dust 2, which is where we start to think, okay, Smith's starting to wake up. Despite Mo's best efforts, and like I said, he was involved in 81% of rounds where he was contributed, they still did fall down. They finished off day 3 quite nicely, and they're in a good place right now, but so are their opponents. OpTic, a little bit of a slip to start with there as well, going up against Gambit. They did lose out 16-14, but they played 2 train maps in a row and absolutely dominated them. Especially the last match as well, when they went up against Flipside, we started to see some huge work from Daps. He was all over it, like moss on a rock, and of course the double orb in Naf and Mixwell was chugging along quite nicely as well. So we're going to keep things short and jump into it. It's going to be a backstage game, and I'm going to pass it over to the desk now to give us a very brief prelude, Alex.
Yeah, this is going to be a test for all of us. Thanks, Mitch. It's going to be brief. We are probably going to just say hello and do the veto and then goodbye. So let's try it. I've got Metis and Vendetta hanging out. In the interest of time, this is going to be as concise as humanly possible. Hi guys, so how's your life? How's your day? What you doing? You know, what are you wearing? How are you feeling? Anyway, let's talk a little bit about these maps because that's all we have time for. HellRaisers versus OpTic. What do we know? What has been played so far? Set the scene.
Well, HellRaisers throws for a bit of a curveball, all of a sudden busting out Nuke, even though they didn't practice it all that much. So their map pool kind of expanded a tiny bit, but on a regular basis, they normally ban out Train, which is a map that we've seen OpTic play twice. So that's probably not going to be seen. Same thing goes for Dust 2. One of the best maps for HellRaisers is a common ban for OpTic.
Goodbye, Train.
And yeah, already Train's gone, so no big surprises so far.
Likely Dust 2. I'd imagine it's going to be banned for OpTic.
Yeah.
There we go. It's one of the best maps for HellRaisers. Oscar's a complete boss on it. You don't want to go anywhere near it as far as they're concerned. Overpass next. Here's another map that HellRaisers are very solid on. Angel's a god on that map. I think he's very underrated when it comes to Overpass, so there's no big surprises. Nuke also banned from HellRaisers.
So not going to take the chance.
I'm not.
They've gone up against one team that practices Nuke, and it went 100% win rate.
They know OpTic play it though.
Yeah, but so did Dignitas apparently.
They played it in the minor, I believe.
Cobblestone being taken out is a bit of a surprise for me because it's a map that HellRaisers don't really mind playing. But same thing goes for OpTic really. They don't mind it at all. Cash being the final map, I was expecting that to be actually banned from OpTic.
Me too.
Because it's a very, very good map for HellRaisers, but they do have a very distinct playstyle on it.
And what is that distinct playstyle, as briefly as you can?
Well, CT side from HellRaisers is all about early aggression, and we've seen it time and time after again. They're going to do pop flashes into A main, have 2 people run through. If they find something, then obviously great, you're at an advantage. If not, then they're going to push for it. They're going to gain map control, which is really hard to deal with if you're not aware of it, but hopefully OpTic are.
They play a similar style on Cash to Dust 2, actually, on their CT side. And they are quite similar. If you think about the layout of Dust 2 compared to Cash, there's a lot of similarities with mid control, branching off into different areas. So HellRaisers is pretty much just carbon copy from one map to the next. So totally agree with what Ben said.
And then if we were moving quickly into individuals, of course the knife round still has to go down, so maybe we can actually do some analysis. Talking about some individuals, I do try and steer clear of the Oscar discussion because as of late, we have seen the rest of HellRaisers delivering. It's something that we saw in the interview from Sticko. He's saying we are well aware of that kind of emphasis on Oscar. The stigma, that's the perfect word. And it does seem like the same kind of story for Mouse Sports. Both these teams realizing that they can't be that one-player show.
Yeah, and at this tournament, both teams have actually had other players step up. For Mouse, we had Nex, Crochet eventually, and Dennis especially.
Yep.
For HellRaisers, I think Sticko had an amazing game in the last showing that HellRaisers had, and he's been playing consistently well at this tournament. Zero, we haven't still seen him kind of reach that same level of play as he does online, but he's creeping closer. Bondic still that consistent spot in the roster that you can always count on. And Angel had an absolutely amazing Nuke game.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's going to transfer over to the match now, bit unseen, but normally you can count on Angel to actually provide with something useful.
And if we were to emigrate over to North America and talk about OpTic for a moment, Vince, it does feel like it's a lot easier to pick out some star players from HellRaisers than it is for OpTic. Is there a particular reason behind that? These guys have done equally as well as HellRaisers currently within this qualifier.
I feel like because it's more of a cohesive effort. We've seen Rush, Nafly both do crazy performances, but then Daps yesterday was their standout player. So it's a case on their side, you know, with HellRaisers, you said you want to stay away from it, but Oscar, there's no denying that he is consistently going to be up there. With OpTic, it could be one of 3 or 4 players. You know, it's similar to Flipside in that respect. We just saw Markov pull off a crazy performance. Where's the last time we saw him do that?
Taking it in turns.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's the cool thing about OpTic, because it does seem like such a cohesive team effort when they're winning, because they have different players showing up at any given time. I think it was at the Minors, Stanislaw just had an absolutely ball with every opponent he ran into, and a couple of months before that, it was Rush that was kind of leading the charge for OpTic. So they have a lot of weapons in their back pocket that they can pull out at any given time.
And on Cash as well, we always describe it as a very comfortable map for North Americans. Is that the kind of case for OpTic as well, or have they been kind of breaking the mold in that regard?
They're not as, well, at least to my knowledge, they're not as much of a cash aficionado as the other NA teams.
Yeah.
And they're going up against one of the stronger cash teams in Europe.
So that does already imply that you might be leaning towards HellRaisers here.
I'm feeling comfortable with the HellRaisers pick for this match, yeah, absolutely.
Damn, HellRaisers to the major. What about you?
I agree. I think OpTic also had an easier road here than HellRaisers have to the 2-1 score, so I would also agree. I think HellRaisers have this.
It's crazy stuff, but one of these teams is going to make it to Cologne, OpTic or HellRaisers. HellRaisers have done it before. OpTic are looking to go ahead and continue to pave the way and meet some more of their North American fellows over in Cologne next month. It goes down on Cash, and we're going to be seeing how this goes down thanks to your casting pair who are waiting in the wings.
Thank you very much, Machine. And now, Natu and I will be bringing you this match, HellRaisers versus OpTic, going down on Cash. What are your thoughts going into this one, as we actually are going into the pistol run right now?
Yeah, it's a tough one to call to me, and to be honest with you. With HellRaisers, even though you could say they arguably are the favorites in the list, but still they're a bit of a hit-and-miss team. You see them getting to these 4 spies in situations where they don't really have to. They feel like they can break the economy from the opponents. They'll just go for that one more buy, eventually spiraling down to like a 5-0, 6-0 deficit to work with. So we'll see how it all starts out.
But as it begins now, the guys from OpTic line up their take over towards the back B hallways. Daps watching the flank to make sure they don't get pushed from the mid garage. But beyond this, already moving in, Angel striking first, but Mixwell striking back as well. Zero now stuck onto the bomb site. Gonna have to perform under pressure as they push in his direction. Unfortunately, they were gonna be blind, but Oscar coming in to chime in as well.
That was interesting. Just plow into the B-bomb site. Now Stanislav, the last guy, is just going to try to get the bomb plan. Other than that, it would be a miracle for him to pull this off. Not going to happen. Oscar with the last kill. It's going to get the defuse as well. And that B-plow not working out for OpTic.
And you can see their HellRaisers prioritizing mid-control right from the beginning. Really didn't even put anybody towards the A side. We're playing pretty usual like retake positions that we see a lot of teams using as of late. So we're able to rotate themselves over to the B side pretty quickly and maintain control. So nicely helped by those guys, and now they get the advantage to start off.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, A-bomb on Cash is one of the most retakeable bomb sites in the whole game, to be honest with you. As long as you have the utility to work with, you can make that happen rather easily. As we can see, OpTic decides to go for a rather conservative approach to the second round. Just upgrading some pistols and getting a couple of smokes. Their mission right now is trying to get that bomb plan on a bomb site.
Bondic now sending back, but Stico as well will hold the close position with the SMG. They're ready to hold this, but OpTic as well line up their take very quickly. It does not start off well, however, as Angel coming in with the second pickup, and up on top, Bondic actually having some trouble. Only manages to find one. Ultimately, though, it's brought down to Naf, who's playing Ring Around the Rosie a little bit, and there's a nice one-tap, takes down Stico. That's all he is going to find, though. Oscar takes him back down, and it'll be the 2-0 from HellRaisers.
No bomb plan at all for OpTic, so that is definitely going to make their buy a little less viable, but they decide to go for it. There's going to be some Galils in play. No AWP, obviously. They have quite a few grenades to work with, so let's see how they approach this. You always see a lot of mid-takes from teams. They try to gain control from that part of the map and then try to trade effectively to make the situation favorable for themselves, but so far it seems like, yeah, that's exactly what OpTic's going for.
Stico very quickly giving himself a position inside of A main there too, but bails out just before we see the peek coming in from Daps. In the meantime, though, as you can see, Angel sneaks his way all the way through the Ivy push. Or not the Ivy push, wrong map. Squeaky push, sorry.
Ivy squeaky.
And is going to be able to take down Daps. Stanislaw, though, responding in kind, as they move their way into the B site. And that's actually going to be a lot of control to get without taking anybody down. The guys from HellRaisers seemed to bit on that early action towards the A site, so they're going to be playing retake, and they don't really have a good footing to find a way back into the site.
It's definitely going to be a tough 4-on-4 situation. Trying to retake B bomb site, never an easy task. The choke points on this map, on that B bomb site, are very narrow, making things even worse. They still do have a little bit of utility, and Zero opening things up as well. It's going to just ease things off there. Only going to be down to Stanislav now. So that's a success for retake coming in. Astiko gets the last kill as well. That was way more flawless than I was expecting it to be.
There you go. HellRaisers looking great so far at the beginning of this matchup. OpTic now, unfortunately, not going to have an easy time getting themselves into the match here, finding some rounds to work with. Starting off 3-0, and with HellRaisers taking the first gun round, going into this next one here, it's going to be a fairly minimal investment from OpTic. Just buying up Tech 9 armor for a few players, Eagles and P250s for some others.
Very classic HellRaisers down in the previous round. Playing very aggressively in the first few rounds. That's pretty much what they do on all the maps. So you gotta be ready for that. As Nafla is gonna open things up though. The nice little deagle kill on the Oscar. Let's make it a 5-on-4.
Taking him out of the play, so now the split is only going to leave one on the A side itself, but with Stiko hanging out just behind the white boxes, that could also be a pretty quick rotation in. There's Angel, though, getting himself into an aggressive position just outside of Team Main. Catches Nap when he wants to go for a peek, and there's Stiko, back by the white boxes there, catching Rush. But he does need to pull away from this one since the pressure is coming over towards the A-bomb site now in order to support Bondik, but unfortunately for Stiko, he'll be the first to go down. Bondik tries to transfer the spray after picking up that first kill. Doubt is going to trade him out, though, and now they will, at the very least, be able to get the bomb down here.
Stanislav's in prime position to get Zero. He does exactly that. It's now all up to Angel. He's going to be in a horrible position. I'm going to clutch this though. Stanislav is playing very much close to that smoke. But Angel being so low in HP, so he decides to bail on this. So that's going to be the half buy working for OpTic.
He just barely gets away there too. Stanislav misses the mark by a little bit because of that smoke in the way, so it looks like he should be able to escape. Finds the op as well, and saving that, of course, is going to be a nice little boost to what HellRaisers may be able to bring into the next round. Finally, OpTic finding some footing there, being able to go into the site. It seemed like they weren't expecting them to be so aggressive, specifically Daps pushing up there with a Tech 9. Catches one of the players from HellRaisers just around truck, and see Angel might have to take at least one player down, but not going to be the case. He'll survive, and he takes the op into this round.
That's always going to be helpful considering you have Oscar in your team. Just dropping an op, and you can pretty much guarantee he's going to get a kill or two with that. When it comes to the rest of his team, only Zero and Angel have good money, so they're still going to be forcing into this based off of the fact that they have that op saved up from the previous rounds. So OpTic finally on the board. Now they just need to follow up on that.
Naf moving inside. They main there just to try to make some noise though, and again the positions from the HellRaisers focalizing on mid at the beginning of this one, but now starting to shift it into something a bit more normal. The 2-2-1 split with Stiko and Oscar watching out for mid. Stiko, a very quick rotation to the A site if need be, but with OpTic lining up outside of the B halls in very large numbers, the take is going to begin pretty swiftly. Angel, first to hold here, and he's going to be able to peek back out. Finds that pickup on the Daps, follows it up with the second on the Stanislav as well. Moving in for a third, but he doesn't catch the cross from Rush, so Rush surprises onto Zero, taking him down with Naf finding another kill onto Stiko. They're turning this around now, getting themselves up onto the site, guaranteeing some control so they can be able to get the bomb down.
Didn't look promising at first because they didn't smoke off, they did spawn, so Angel getting 2 easy kills, but it becomes a 3-on-3 in the end. And again, a situation that should, in theory, favor the T side. But, again, the free grenades will work with here. So, you never know. Angel's going to make his way. He's going to get that kill on the Rush. Well, it's all going to be up Nafly now, but he's going to go down as well. Another round going the way of HellRaisers. But yeah, I mean, they should have OpTic gotten way much easier on the bomb side had they smoked off CT spawn. I don't know if it was a missed smoked or what happened there, but Angel having way too much visibility.
And HellRaisers in general having a pretty easy time with these retakes so far. OpTic even in more straightforward 1 versus 1s in the post plant, just they're not coming out on top a lot of the time. So with that, HellRaisers continue to dominate now and get the lead right back. But OpTic, at least with enough cash for now to go into another buy after losing that round and having their losing bonus reset.
That's one of those things where you have to have a rule of thumb of who's going to be the first line to take the fight, and then everyone else will initiate right after. It seemed like they had that going for themselves. Or they just died 1 by 1. It's that much easier for the cities to retake.
I think that splitting up again, it's the usual default that we have come to expect on this map. It's transition now over the past couple of months, especially for North American teams. Not very uncommon at all to see this sort of waiting style where they sit back, just run that timer down a bit before deciding on the site and weigh, in all honesty, which they want to go about taking control.
Especially against HellRaisers, because they like to have that aggression coming your way. So you sort of have to wait that 45 seconds on the clock before you commit to anything.
And again, with some pressure starting to come out towards mid too, Angel tries to check it, but the smoke timing does not end up working out in his favor. And with that, they're going to be able to move in through boost and take control there. They're going to try to put Oscar up on top, but he's too late to spot any of this. Not only this, but they're peeking up. That's a great recovery from Oscar, though. Finds Naf just hiding below the shed outside the vents, and he takes him down. Gives him the first kill, but now again, Zero. He's going to be under pressure here in the B-bomb side. His OpTic are moving in quickly. Some good flashbangs coming out. It's going to hold them back for a few seconds, but unfortunately, Angel coming into support. He is going to get knocked out. Mixwell finding a second. Oscar does connect a shot, but unfortunately not going to be able to find a kill, and he's going to fall away for now. So OpTic get control of the site again. 4 on 3, but HellRaisers are prime for the retake.
And look at HP on Stanislav and Mixwell, 2 and 15 respectively. So that could help HellRaisers once again to have a successful retake here. So Eagle's going to get actually the one of the 3 that had good HP. Now it's going to build down to Stanislav and Daps on that site. And again, is it going to happen? It becomes a 2 on 2.
No, it's not. Daps is going to tap away both Oscar and Stiko. Nicely played by him. And finally, a solid defense in the post plant allows OpTic and affords them a second round here now.
With this shot, though, Oscar, he's just, wow. The consistency he has with that op is just insane. Even when he's pressured, he can make it happen.
And there's Daps just closing it out there. 1 and 2 punch to end it. And that's going to break HellRaisers now. As you can see, very, very light by, in fact, just P250s coming in for these guys. OpTic definitely still battling things pretty closely here, but with it being on an eco round, and you're usually seeing some unorthodox things from the CTs, it's going to be that same type of slow strat from OpTic.
Yep, you definitely want to wait out what the CTs are doing in a eco situation, and so they're just waiting to see if any pushes come in. You see a lot of pushes through the big rush or A main late round as well from ecoing CTs, but then that's going to be a lot of that happening as HellRaisers are just waiting basically.
And Oscar and Zero now rotating over to the A site completely. They're going to go for the risk stack now. And OpTic take control of mid with the bomb shifting its way over there towards the B hallways. So the 4-man stack heading towards the A site now, and HellRaisers is going to end up being, unfortunately, a bit of a waste, which means Angel's going to be the only player that can probably do some real damage here. The rest of the team can try to position for some exits, but that's going to be about it. As they move in, Angel can't hold anything at all, gets knocked out, and the smokes broil in, so I just want to try to push this. Actually, correct myself, Stanislav sitting in the mini pit there actually does get brought down at 20 HP. Stiko trying to move in and finish him off, cannot find that shot though, and as he crawls away to safety in T-main, he may be getting away in this round after all.
Yeah, right now the main objective for OpTic is to try to keep this as clean as possible, and well, when you have 5 alive at the end of the round, that's pretty much mission accomplished.
Indeed, so the money will continue to build up here now for the T's. HellRaisers, although they started off well, things unfortunately bring it back pretty quickly against their favor because of that economy that builds against them. But now they go into another bye round, still with at least one more chance to hold their lead.
This could be even a bigger scoreline for OpTic had they been better with their after-plan situations. They've been in very favorable situations, but somehow not managing to fend off the CTs. And right now we see OpTic actually setting up for execute here, at least looking for those smoke spots.
For now, they hold back, but in comes the setup from OpTic now out onto the A-bomb site. And it's that 1-2-2 setup from the guys on HellRaisers, which can very quickly shift over towards the A site. Bondic finding a first kill, but at the same time, the smoke setup heading into A is all a ruse so that they can take control of middle. At the same time, though, with nobody covering the B hall, Zero is free to push out, dropping Rush and the bomb. Mixwell responding in kind, but now Oscar, unfortunately, going to get mollied back, and he can't find any safety. Naf is going to be able to take him down. And Zero now is the main linchpin here to try and bring this back under the control of his team, since he still has that bomb under his control behind the smoke right now.
That's definitely not going to be easy on him, but it's going to be Bondic, though, from CT spawn to get one more kill to make it a 2-on-2 situation. Now, things get a little bit slower due to that kill, and Daps and Mix will need to go for that bomb. Try to make a play, because if you spend too much time on here not grabbing up the bomb, you just obviously don't have a lot of choice to choose from anymore. Daps trying to make his way towards Zero, who is here, and he spawned, and he should be favored, so he doesn't get the kill. So it is somehow. HellRaisers is still favored in this situation. Mixwell, though, well, he's not going to be able to do much. Zero with another kill. That's going to be the op recovered as well. And somehow, due to Zero's hero play there, how he pushed the B holes and got the kill on the guy who was taking the bomb towards the B bomb site is the one that really made the difference.
And it was all set up perfectly well up to that point. The fakes over towards A. We saw quite a few members of the HellRaisers starting to rotate over towards A. But then as soon as Zero picks up that kill, they know exactly what's happening, and they can rotate back over to try and stop any more aggression from coming out. OpTic gets to stop in mid all of a sudden to try and get back control of the bomb. And well, they just never really could do that since they were pinched in the B hallway. And this time, again, things will start off well for Oscar as he finds a shot and Stanislau denying him as soon as he tries to round that corner closer to the site.
Seems like it's going to be a full-on. Well, not a full-on A, but they are playing with the idea. Nafly gets a kill onto Angel to equalize it. That seems to be slowing things down a little bit. Well, Stico is playing with the idea of going through that smoke. Is he on the other side of the wall? No, he's actually coming in, yeah. He's going to get that kill, but it becomes a trade. So it still favors the T side, definitely in the 3-on-3.
OpTic's still playing things pretty slowly here. They've kept Daps over here, just outside of T main, over towards the B bomb site. And he's going to move in, but Zero is waiting for him. Daps able to escape just barely since it was a very small peak, but now they know there is one on this site. They've got to try and take him down, but he himself has smoked it back off again. It's going to be Zero that has to hold this for now, and for some reason the rotations haven't been called over just yet. He still doesn't have this intel, but now he's picked up a frag and all these smokes. He's going to need to call for some support, but he, in all honesty, may not end up needing it here. They're going to counter boost over here in the vents to try and fall back to mid, but they're waiting for them there as well. HellRaisers. That was such a great read at the moment, and not only this, but Zero peeking again over on the site, drops Nav. No luck at all for OpTic on trying to escape that situation.
What a great play from Zero there. Just delaying that attack long enough, getting that crucial kill to make it a 3-on-2 advantage for themselves. And then obviously OpTic trying to boost the event and Bondic just being ready there, waiting by the white box. If they do counter boost, and that's exactly what they did. A round over HellRaisers with another one, and OpTic having to save here with a partial buy though, upgrading pistols.
Denying that early control of middle that OpTic have tried to go for in a couple rounds here with the molly up on top of boost. Daps getting ready to go in, but there's a nade. He tries to jump over it, but Angel punishes that. And Daps will now be a dead man due to a headshot from pretty long range coming out from Angel there. Even does some more damage too from some grenades coming out, but now just trying to get Angel out of there so he doesn't get overwhelmed. And I mean, already OpTic are going to have trouble making any sort of impact in this round. Mixwell may be able to surprise. No, sorry, he won't. Stico takes him down. Naf killing a teammate there. Now things are starting to get a bit chaotic for OpTic.
That doesn't fly, Nafly. Not cool at all. Well, that's going to be the meat grinder pretty much of a round. Over with rather quickly, and the HellRaisers picking that one up, keeping it clean in the meanwhile as well. So we do stand at 7-3 scoreline for HellRaisers. Well, off of basically the smallest difference really is that they've just been clinching out the rounds in the situations that really matter, and their individuals have done just a better job at reading plays and playing off of them very well. So just going to be a full buy here. No AWP in play for OpTic though. One Galil and Nafly. A little bit limited grenades for them as well. Only one Molotov, but still 4 smokes to play with.
Flash coming out from Naf is going to negate some of this pressure working its way out through the squeaky hallway there at the beginning, but now they are going to have to fall back a bit more. Naf with the molly. I think he knows Stico's here, but Stico with a bit of an early smoke kind of works. I don't think the molly will be allowed to spread to him because I think he's still technically inside of it, but yeah, you'll see he's safe now. And as soon as it fades, he can retreat back outside onto the site. However, Oscar inside of A main though, and I believe he was just outside of the smoke. That was the counter offer from OpTic taking down Mixwell. Again, giving HellRaisers the advantage here. And in all honesty, if you're OpTic right now, you have to figure out where exactly you want to try to play this from because they're being denied on so many options due to aggression coming out from HellRaisers. They're almost just being driven to where they have no options here. Pushing into the B-bomb site, but again, things do not start off well. Zero is winning exactly for this peak. Angel in the mini pit there. Not going to find any frags, but he does do a lot of damage. We see the molly coming back onto the platform, so they're all going to be driven here, but finally, there's a good entry kill coming out from Naf on to Zero. Looked like Zero was going to find some more. Oscar trying to find the flick, but the wall gets in the way, and then Stico now coming in on the flank with the HE grenade going over towards Naf, and Oscar picking up another kill. You can see that nade going right in Naf's face, so he's now down at 3 HP, trying to hold this on somehow, but it's so hard to do. However, still fragging 1 HP with that grenade, but he runs out of ammo, and Stico is going to be able to just barely close this out.
What a back and forth affair. It was never supposed to be that close either. They had 2 players there on the B-bomb side towards the tail end of the round, and still somehow it becomes a 1-on-1 in the end. Again, just off of individual performances from the players here. It's going to be yet another round going the way of HellRaisers as they picked that one up. At this point in time, it seemed like this should be clean and easy, but Nafly says it definitely is not. They managed to stay alive as long as they did.
I think a second nade ends up hitting him here too. Yeah, you can see that
HP.
bouncing behind him. It looked like it was sort of right behind him.
He went from the 3 HP to 1
Yeah,
HP.
I'm really curious as to where that nade exploded from to only do 2 damage when it seemed like it was that close to him too. Because there's not a lot of wiggle room behind him. Keep behind the walls just a couple inches, so CSGO nades, again,
Yes.
the best.
They are slightly questionable, aren't they? Well, look at this. OpTic already planning on those ace smokes. Let's see if they're actually committing to the bomb side this time around. As we can see from the TT side, there's only Bondic playing the A-bomb side. He probably decides to just fall back. No, instead he's taking a fight, gets the first kill. He's even staying on the bomb side. Should be a hard one here for OpTic as the bomb goes down as well. Snapline Daps left here.
Bondic going to be overwhelmed a little bit there. Had no choice to run. Now taking him down, and Daps waiting for a frag. Actually catches Angel moving into the site perhaps a little bit too soon. So we'll be down to a 2-on-2. Oscar taking some good control, and Zero just trying to spray through the box. Almost eliminates Daps. He's going to have to retreat, but there's Oscar again doing work with the op. Moves in and takes down Nafly. Daps the last one, such low HP from earlier. That's Zero priming him up for that, but Oscar is going to go in, find the execution. And HellRaisers continue just to run away with this matchup now, 9-3 against OpTic.
Prime example again why you need to play passively on the A-bomb side because it's such close proximity. So it's really good for the Tech-9s, the CZs, whatnot, to get those fast headshots. And that's pretty much why it becomes so close, because the CTs are overly committing to the bomb side before there's a need really to be there. Bondic gets that 1 kill. He could have just fallen back and just played full-on retake afterwards, because the Terrors are not going to have any grenades left anymore to try retake, and at CT you will have everything pretty much, so you can just molly all the positions possible to make it uncomfortable for Terrors to hold off the CTs.
Oscar, again, using that boost in Z with a teammate. He's picked up the first kill. Rush, after wrestling back for some control in middle, does find a trade, but it's at the cost of another teammate there. Nav and Stanislaw have been eliminated. And with only 3 of us alive, we've already seen many attempts from OpTic to bring these rounds back from the brink, and they've just not been going well. So HellRaisers going to have to be feeling confident. They've evenly split their players, but still leaning a little bit more towards the A side at the moment. So that would place some pressure on Zero in the event they decide to fall back and head over towards the B-bomb site. But Zero himself has already demonstrated many times that he has no trouble holding on to that site when he's pressured. Plays things very cautiously and oftentimes ends up coming out on top and having to find multi-frags against his opponents.
It feels like the B-bomb side must be a bit of a nightmare for OpTic by now, considering how many rounds they've not been able to secure, even though they managed to get a bomb plant a lot of the time. Well, Bondic's going to pick 1 on Daps, so it's only going to be a rush on Mixwell right now. Mixwell needs to make it work. He gets 1 on the Oscar right there, but is he going to be... Well, he's going to be ready for Bondic to be here by a forklift because he shot there, but oh, it's not going to be able to get that kill. Slow down the rush now, 23 HP. Still got the bomb, 35 seconds on the clock, but Zero being behind. That's going to be all she wrote.
Zero closing things down, and HellRaisers already in the double digits here, just in the first half. You can see that boost again. It's the second or third time I think they found a kill with it too, so a bit unfortunate that OpTic haven't started to adjust things to try and counter it a little bit better, but...
I mean, the frustrating thing really for OpTic is that they've actually been managing to get to the bomb sites a lot of times, but they've just lost all the 3-on-3s, the 4-on-4 situations afterwards, so I mean, you can't really blame your tactics at that point. You can just blame how you deal with the after-plan situations and the situations that are after the actual strategy happens.
Oscar holding a much more aggressive angle, as you can see, just in the inside of Checkers below the vents. Looking to wait and see if he can catch the lurker from OpTic moving closer to the B-bomb site, but not to be found as of yet. They seem to be grouping up a little bit early this time around, closer towards middle, to try and postulate themselves over towards the A-bomb site. Naf's got the door open here through Squeaky, but he won't be obliged with any peeks anytime soon here. Sticko still going to be safe. They just walk in and close the door on him anyway.
What a gentleman. It's going to make things a little worse for Nafly here. Bomb is residing close to the A main as the door gets shot once again. And Nafly's not happy about it. It's just starting to bank the walls at AWP.
Trying to go for the wall banks there, but everybody from HellRaisers has evacuated away from the quad area for the time being. So won't be
For
able
a
to,
good reason.
yeah, won't be able to pick anything up just as of yet. And in the meantime, OpTic taking some sort of inching away control of middle while all this is happening on the site itself. You can see Daps and Mixwell are ready to push up highway right now, and they're kind of getting this for free. I do believe one of them just spotted this. So Stigo coming out at the peak, but he can't find that first kill. Molly, though, quickly comes back out to hold them back for a few extra seconds, and the peak from Bondigi over peaks. Rush is going to be able to take him down, and all of a sudden the defenses look weaker, but Oscar's still up and running. The Molly's going to force him away from the truck angle a bit, and Zero trying to come in on the flank, having trouble executing Mixwell, though, so he'll have to fall away, but then Oscar again, picking up his own second frag now, taking down Daps. We'll be in a 3-on-3, but look at this flank coming in from Mixwell now. He takes down Oscar, and with Stanislav's frag on Angel, there's not a whole lot that Zero can do.
Well, the best he can hope for right now is trying to get some kills going on. So the HellRaisers OpTic has to buy weapons again, but it's going to be Stanislav getting that kill, so none of that is going to happen. They survive with 3, meaning they will have everything they wanted to in this round, as they will have to drop 2 weapons. Well, finally OpTic managing to close out a round.
Indeed, HellRaisers making a couple of mistakes there, which ends up costing them dearly, over-peaking, taking these 1-versus-1s, which they don't really end up winning too confidently, and with that, now they're going to allow OpTic to find another round on the board. Regardless, though, at this point, HellRaisers with 10 rounds, regardless if they win this one or not, should still be in pretty secure shape going into the second half now.
It's going to get another default here coming from OpTic. It's working their way in A main and the B main. Seeing if the CTs are throwing any aggression. None of which is going to be found, though. We do have HellRaisers with a lot of emphasis towards the B bomb side this time around, though. That's a bit of a difference.
And now for OpTic here, too. It's that same kind of lineup. Heading into the A main area now, as Naf starts to investigate things by the squeaky door once again, drawing a bit of attention. We've already seen him playing around with it a bit, but HellRaisers are not one to play. They seem to want to just close that door up as quickly as possible if they can deny any presence. This time, though, going to be mollying it out, and the rest of the team follows suit. Oscar under pressure, still finds a kill, but that's the only one. Daps and Rush now moving out. Both of them are able to pick up a kill on Oscar and Bondic. Again, things evenly traded into a 3-on-3, but this is where they've been having a little bit more trouble actually pulling off those retakes because they happen so quickly. Angel, Stico, along with Zero, trying to find a way back in, but there's still a large amount of smoke set up at this point for the members of OpTic. But nonetheless, they make their progress. They get ready to move in as soon as they fade. Nades coming out a little bit early on the timing from OpTic, but the flashbangs are good. Holds them back. Mixwell also ready to try and hold the pressure, working its way back in from the truck area. And Daps is first to party here. Smokes to allow the CTs to get a bit of ground here. He's going to take some damage, just leaping in there. Zero finds his first pickup. They know there's pressure coming in from Angel, but Mixwell holds his ground anyway. Rush back behind Quad there. Ends up running out of ammo. He's got to go for the reload. Stico taking him down, but Mixwell still alive and well into the one-on-one. And with Stico running out of time, he's going to have to try and hold this now. Mixwell a bit keen to stop the peak. And although we do see Stico picking up the kill, he wastes too much time playing with Mixwell. So OpTic do pick up a 5th round, and it'll be 10-5 coming off the first half.
That was a very frustrating half for OpTic, has to be said. I mean, there were so many rounds that they could have had more. It could have easily been 9 to 10 rounds for them as well, but they just couldn't close out or they couldn't just capitalize on the 4-on-4s and so forth. So, well, I think we're going to be taking a halftime break here. As we come back, it's going to be HellRaisers on that T side.
HellRaisers showing some pretty good signs of life in their first half here against OpTic Gaming, but OpTic Gaming as well, striking back to bring it to a 10-5 half. Still some good work to do here, but now they jump onto the CT side, and we'll see what HellRaisers can do on the offense.
Well, they have a raid boss in Oscar. It seems to be like straight up a hit coming in, but so the same idea with OpTic. They decided they're going to be plowing in there. Stanislav with 2 kills and Mixwell with 2 of his own. All up with Bondic now, and that was a straight up roll in A main.
Absolutely countered by OpTic there. HellRaisers wanted to just roll into the site, maybe expecting the retake lineup and whatnot, but when OpTic roll in, they just absolutely decimate HellRaisers. And with that, now OpTic right back into the match by winning the pistol.
Yeah, that was an interesting round if I've ever seen one. Both teams with the same idea, kinda.
Sort of.
Let's pop flash A main and go straight in there. Well, it's gonna be a force buy here for HellRaisers, who are seemingly working their way towards the B bomb site. Tech9s and a smoke in play for them, pretty much. This is the storyline.
For HellRaisers, very quickly moving over to the B bomb site. They're not wasting any time whatsoever as they move in. Rush and Daps holding off 2. Oscar trading 1 back here, but Daps is still alive and well. Runs out of ammo on the SMG, and as he trades it out, he brings Oscar down to 10 HP. We can see Angel trying to hold the retake, and Oscar tries to go for the plant, but then a nade broils back in there, takes him down, and they will deny that extra cash from going into the HellRaisers' hands.
Well, had they been able to get the kill and to be a little bit quicker, I think that could have actually gotten really dangerous with Angel lurking in the middle. It does become a 2-on-1 in the end. A no bomb plant for HellRaisers, but at least they make it costly for OpTic. And the same token, they don't get the bomb plants. So they're not going to be in the perfect situation going into the next round unless they get a bomb plant here. They have bought a smoke and a flash, so that could have held their cost in trying to get that bomb plant.
Naf is going to be waiting now for the push coming in through A main. OpTic so far as well, similarly to HellRaisers in the earlier portions of the first half, getting some really good reads as far as what HellRaisers is going to be throwing at them. This position right now being held by Naf, he could do some massive damage, especially considering that it's just Glocks from HellRaisers.
Pop flash as well. That's going to stop them from the bush, but here comes their own pop flash. Naf fly now without a shotgun. Is he going to be able to make it happen? Nope, doesn't get a single kill, does he? But it's going to be his teammates to get the kills coming in. And it becomes quite a clean sweep.
Indeed it does. So for HellRaisers, now getting into the things, they will be able to afford the buy up this time around. Going into the 4th gun round, but no op present as of yet to put on to Oscar. And for the rest of these guys, still decent utility and whatnot beyond the AKs. But we'll see from OpTic, though they have, of course, gone for the choice to save the SMGs. Daps and Stanislav still carrying them. We'll see what they can work with, since now HellRaisers are going to be bringing the AKs to the party.
Yeah, let's see if they're going to be playing really aggressively or up close. Obviously, those weapons are better off with the short range, but seemingly they are not looking to play too aggressively, all apart from Mixwell. He's playing with the idea of pushing door here. And he's going to find Stiko, but not going to connect on the bullet. So that's a full back.
As he falls back and away from that one, HellRaisers still looking for some shots. Stiko firing through the garage there, but he's looking to meet a bit of a return against him this time. Still taking it extremely slowly on HellRaisers. It's still that default lineup. Same thing that OpTic was doing for a lot of their rounds before. Just waiting down the timer. In about 10 to 15 seconds, we'll see them start shifting towards the site. As you can see now, they're moving over towards A main to start the execute.
Things are really progressing slowly, aren't they? 50 on the clock, not too much been happening so far. We've seen this Mixwell lose half of his HP. HellRaisers are definitely taking their sweet time now, setting up for those ace smokes. See if they actually follow up on them, or if it's going to be a fake, like we saw from OpTic in the round previous on the first half. They smoked off A and then just went for the boost towards middle.
Just move their way back out there. Stiko is actually going to be stuck at the moment here, but he gets some damage in through the doorway. Able to take down Mixwell. Angel also firing off some shots there. Naf trying to hold his own line, but he only gets 1 pickup there. Bondic striking it right back. And with 0 finding another frag, all of a sudden everything falls in the hands of Rush, who's not even close to this A site. He's back in mid trying to line up a flank.
Interestingly enough, that was HellRaisers just getting the kills before they really even had to go to the bomb site itself. And now it becomes a 4-on-1. Rush just trying to survive, basically. And instead, that was definitely not a fake for that bomb site. It was a full commitment. Get the smokes down there and just enter through that A main. And when you get those kills, entry kills, before you even get to the bomb site, well, it becomes a rather easy job for yourself to get that round.
Sticko nicely done with grabbing that kill through the doors as well. They don't know what to think of themselves after that situation. And Rush looking to save, but he doesn't even catch the fact that Zero is pushing directly in front of him. Thinks it's coming from another direction or something, so tries to look away, but it's too late. Zero's found him, he's got the mark, and he takes him down. HellRaisers, just as OpTic were starting to get their feet back on the ground here, they find another round and chain back into it on the first gun round here. So we'll see from OpTic. Not really enough cash, actually, to go back into this buy. So
They could have bought, though, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's weird because they'd save the SMGs and everything on Daps and Stan, and it seemed like they 100% could have gone for another buy, but instead they're going to do this kind of a weird buy. Some upgraded pistols, Stan goes for an SMG, but for the rest of them, just trying to round that around the 2K margin, I believe, to save up for the next round.
Seems like they're waiting for an 8th main push as well. Oscar, he's going to see that happening. He's going to get the first kill on the Mixwell. Also damage dealt to Nafly, too. Still toying with the idea of pushing A main, but he's going to get destroyed through that box. So that's going to be a good night for him. And it's a 4-1-3 situation now as Oscar just keeps progressing through this A main. There is a rush here by that forklift.
Rush, just leaps into the smoke, keeps him alive for now. I get, what? 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 Sticko thankfully ends the madness there as Rush somehow gets those 2 kills. And just like that, we're evened up. OpTic still very passive about their approach to the A-bomb site as the remaining 2 players rotating over from the B-bomb site move in. But now all of a sudden, HellRaisers, they've lost all their confidence here. Sticko holding back though. He's able to pick up one more kill into Daps, and that leaves everything in the hands of Stanislaw. But he's going to come in here as well, taking out Zero. All of a sudden, it's into a 1v1. I don't think you realize Sticko got this far forward, but it's going to give him away. And Sticko just walks right out there. So Stanislaw is going to clutch things out. And OpTic respond now with another round pickup of their own.
What's Zero doing? Why would he peek car in a 2-on-1 situation? You've already killed one there. It doesn't matter if there's another guy there. Just go into the bomb side. You have the bomb. Here, Stan gets this kill for free, basically. Obviously, if Zero wins that aim battle, well then, okay, but then you took that risk and you paid for it. OpTic's going to take that half buy. They're going to run with it.
So now, OpTic, Rush specifically, getting that big play in the smoke. It literally looked like he walked directly in front of one of the members of HellRaisers and then dived in. But that ignorance and not actually hunting him down cost them 2 players, which eventually deteriorates and gives OpTic the round somehow. So now for HellRaisers, back into another buy. It's a scrappy one, though. An AK in the hands of both Zero and Sticko. Oscar has the op. Beyond that, again, only looking at upgraded pistols. Whereas now, OpTic themselves are back up to a full buy.
And so lack of utility is massive. Only one smoke, a Molotov, and 2 flashes in play for them, so there's not a lot of complex things they could do here on Cash. Instead, they have gained control of middle, and OpTic seems to be happy to give that out to them as well. Oscar trying to take this peek through highway to a bomb site. Decides to pull back, and I think it probably will be a B push coming in here from HellRaisers because of that one smoke they only have on the Molotov.
OpTic, we're just getting ready to go and gather some intelligence inside of A main. So now you can see the rotation starting a bit early, moving in. Dap still up on the site trying to hold this, and he does also have the support of Rush a little bit over towards his right there. But the guys from HellRaisers still have not actually moved out onto the site yet, and the rotations are well on their way. Sticko, though, finding both of the entries here on Rush and Daps. That's both of the players up on the site. Just decks them both to the ground. Naf connecting some damage through the smoke that'll bring Sticko down to 8 HP, but it's not going to be enough to find a kill. So all of a sudden, 5-on-3 retake. OpTic are going to have to try and pull it off, and they're not even going to attempt it. They're running now. HellRaisers clearly outclassed them on that take.
Yeah, I mean, basically 3 OpTic members on that B bomb site, 2 on the site, 1 on the upper deck. You would have thought they'd easily hold out off that attack, but Sticko with the massive entries, and he makes that happen, basically, and they will have 5 surviving this one. And meanwhile, OpTic decided to save with Nafly, Stanislav, and Mixwell here, just holding by the door. Hoping for a better next round, basically.
And so now here, OpTic, with those 3 guns being saved into this next round here, it does bargain the question. And honestly, I do believe they shouldn't have any trouble reinvesting now since Stan is sitting on 6.3K. He should easily be able to drop 2 guns, considering he's one of the players that saved himself. And we will see that investment coming in now. So it'll be full rifles still for everybody on the team, and I believe full utility as well, thankfully, because of those saves. So smart choice, but again, with HellRaisers still being this far ahead, that does lean into a dangerous territory if HellRaisers still continue to win rounds from this point forward.
Exactly. If they win this one here, the old shoot for OpTic altogether here in this match, but it's not going to hit ourselves here. HellRaisers once again taking things slow. More default. It's not really applying pressure really anywhere. Only one anywhere near to any CTs is Sticko here. The man on the screen right now. Might be trying to toying with the idea of getting some action, but it's going to be OpTic pop flashing into A main. They do a little bit of damage, but nothing really to write about. But at least they get the control of that A main.
The Molly is going to work its way inside of the squeaky room there too, and he tried to throw the smoke back out, but it doesn't actually look like it went anywhere. Like it might have hit the Molly or something, and it got lost in the toss. So elsewhere though, we can see Rush responding to a kill that Zero had found against his teammate Daps earlier. HellRaisers still actually not committing themselves to a take as of yet, so it's a bit of wild combat happening across the map, but the bomb itself is still lined inside of the garage. Bondic moving in to pick it up now. It's still definitely leaning heavily towards an A hit, but they need to start this execution soon with time getting very low. However, when they move into the site, they've got to be ready because Stanislaw is sitting just outside of A main to try and take these guys down, and there's not even anybody checking it. Angel just gets dropped. And not only this too, but Stanislaw just got a free smoke off of that because it looks like he tossed it right before he went down.
Interesting that, isn't it? They're going to be falling back towards B bomb side though. Stiko with the opening kill of the A bomb side onto Nafla to make it a 3-3 now. He's going to go for another one, but Stanislav ready for that. Rush though, it's going to be under immense pressure here. Taken out by Oscar. And then Mixwell with the last two to close it out on OpTic with another round on the board.
Such a weird round that was too. It just seemed like HellRaisers just didn't know what they wanted to do for the entire time there. There was so much wild aggression coming on. It didn't really lead to anything, and then the take just got screwed right from the start because of that position Stanislaw was holding.
It's very interesting, wasn't it? And that means that they're going to be HellRaisers now half buying into this. Tech 9's armors and utility. What you usually do in this kind of situation is basically smoke off a site, have multiple people go through door, just basically there to overwhelm the defense of that A bomb site.
And so now HellRaisers having their players hide in the back now, getting ready to line up the utility into the site, and out they go. Mixwell is actually going to be flashed early on, so we can't take down the initial peeking players, but they're going to double Molly over towards Squeaky there, which could be used a little bit later on if they need to retake things here, or just try and hold them back a little bit further. But Stanislaw gets a good lineup, unable to follow up on it though. Mixwell with the off, finding some frags. It's going to be quick though, and again, now we look at Naf to pick things up here for the guys on OpTic. Bondic and Stiko have managed to take control of Quad, but that's really the only area they got in control of. Prioritizing the plant at this point, but Stiko gets dropped. Bondic did find the plant, but that's all he's going to get. And Naf and Rush find the final two kills, and it'll be another retake from OpTic.
Well, since they got the bomb plant now, it means their buy for the following round is going to be a little bit better. We'll probably be able to get that AWP in play for Oscar too. Well, barely. Barely. Would be a glass cannon, wouldn't it? Let's see what they chose to do. Rather. OpTic finally managed to stabilize, stringing 2 rounds together since the pistol round. That's a positive sign. Closing up the score. We do have an op here on Oscar. It's going to be that glass cannon. No utility either.
So he moves himself up pretty quickly to try and actually boost some teammates over on top here. But I'm actually going to call that off for a moment, as now going to allow Bondic to push himself forward here. And in the meantime, OpTic have sort of given up control of mid. They're prioritizing the aggression over here in A main instead as Nafly pushes inside of there. So they'll let HellRaisers move in for free in this area, taking control here. Mixwell's going to rotate in now to try and get some intel, and this timing on it actually might work perfectly since they've just gone inside of the vents too and taking control of checkers. So that could line up a flank for them a little bit later on if they want to. Mixwell moving back over from Z though, and the Mollies will not start to come out. Looking good to hold control at the moment for OpTic, but now they've got a frag as well with HellRaisers ready to move into the bomb site here. Daps catching Zero in the one and done spot first. Rush though is the one that actually picks up the first frag, taking down Angel. He's going to find a second further back from the platform, and with Stanislaw moving in, this take is going absolutely nowhere for HellRaisers. Stiko has got to run away from this one, and it'll be a tie now, 12-12.
Nafly getting a lot of information, pushing into A main. That's the attack towards the B bombs that started to initiate from HellRaisers. That had OpTic take a third player to the B bomb side, and that was pretty much a round over with because they were just sandwiched in that B bomb side, not even knowing it themselves in that situation. And like you said, that's going to be OpTic picking up their 12th to equalize the scoreline.
So Stiko here just basically going to be hiding out in the garage, and again, we'll prioritize saving the AK-47 since his team is flat broke right now. I think there's a total of like $700-800 at most for the entire HellRaisers squad. And it's not really going to be adding all that much to it, despite the third round losing bonus since they didn't find a plant here. So Stiko keeps himself alive. It doesn't really look like OpTic are moving out to hunt him down, so he's not going to lose it. Actually, you can see that ping there.
Yeah,
that was close.
That was very close. Yeah, Let's see what they decide to do. It is becoming a situation where you got to be really sure about the decisions you make, because we know what's on the line. We are sitting at 12-12 scoreline. Well, they do take the more conservative approach to it. Stico with that AK-47. Pretty pistols for the rest. Have a few grenades to work with too.
And it's going to be very straightforward from HellRaisers on this round. Everybody already inside of A main, ready to execute. And I believe OpTic have a read on this in kind. Now they've fallen back. There's no heavy presence up towards the doorway since they're going to be flooding out pretty quickly here. Mixwell gets the first response. It's a connection on the Angel, but not a frag. But now they're going to get up close. Nicely done. Takes down Zero. Over to the pistol now to finish off Oscar. More to go here, but he's got to be careful too. He's getting a little bit low. Thankfully his teammates are here. They're able to support quite nicely. Angel at 4 HP. Moving forward. Another shot coming out from Mixwell. And Stanislav finishes off. OpTic now with the lead.
Well, that did not really work out at all, did it? Mixwell doing a great job of holding him off, throwing down Molotov to the door, flashing, just hitting these shots. Nice one there on the Zero. Getting Oscar as well, just making sure the bomb doesn't get planted. So, good job there from OpTic, and HellRaisers is still going to be a strong in for money. So obviously Stico didn't have anything, didn't get anything other round. When the time ran out, he's going to have to resort to a Deagle. Also, there's an OpTic play from Oscar once again, so that can help things, but Mixwell playing a bit of a cheeky play here into the A main.
Mixwell, nice jump up there, able to grab Angel. Oscar further back there, just in the transition room, does take down Naf to find the trade on it into a 4-on-4, but question here for Stico now. Does he want to try to go in and pick up another one, or does he hold back? Mixwell starting to shift out. He's ready for the push at this point, so definitely don't want to be doing that. And the rest of HellRaisers are still safely tucked away, closer towards T-spawn and in the garage, as they wait to sort of rethink this and go for a plan B.
Exactly. Well, they still have plenty of grenades to work with, so there's a lot of options for HellRaisers to choose from. It seems they're taking the bomb towards that A main, which right now is occupied by Mixwell and Stanislav. So it could be a world of hurt for HellRaisers unless they time their grenades perfectly, just attack together and can overwhelm this op of Mixwell.
Stanislav putting himself a bit out in the open there as he pushes himself a bit towards Forklift, but for now it's all in good taste, and as well he's able to peek inside of there. Nothing being spotted as of yet. HellRaisers still very passive about this whole lineup, considering the timer is getting lower and lower. They've fallen back behind A main to be able to set up the smokes now, as they've gone into the site. Mixwell getting a read on Zero's position perfectly. Takes one down, going to move over towards NBK spot. Doesn't see the jump initially, but now adjusts his aim perfectly. Oscar, the only one that really catches anything significant on the site that time for HellRaisers. But beyond that, it's OpTic again that shut it down. The pause call coming in from HellRaisers, but this might be a little bit too late now.
What did I say? You have to overwhelm Mixwell's op there? Well, they definitely didn't do a good enough job there, because he was able to transition his aim so fast and get all those crucial kills. And yeah, that's going to be a timeout right now for HellRaisers. This game definitely has just turned around all of a sudden. I mean, there was a point in time where it didn't seem at all possible for OpTic to get into it.
It's been basically Mixwell doing like all the work,
Yeah.
especially in these higher pressure situations. When it came down to the A-bomb site, playing in that quad area, he's been almost unstoppable. And when they finally do take him down, he catches like 2 or 3 kills before getting traded out. Like you said before, they need to find a better way to try and counter him out, take him down, as he's just getting way too many frags.
Yeah, and just good reads from OpTic as well. I mean, good intuition. They had an half-life push on one of the later rounds into the A main, and they realized no one's actually coming there. So they stacked 3 right into that B-bomb site and won't even very up close to the B-bomb site, just make it impossible for HellRaisers to do anything about it. So this is interesting. I mean, it seems so obvious. HellRaisers were on the driver's seat for the most part of this, but it's just for the last few, they haven't even been close to winning any rounds.
Yeah, especially just ever since they've switched to the T side here, where you've really only been seeing anything significant coming out from Oscar. Everybody else has sort of dropped off. Stico with some good stuff here and there, but for everybody else, it's kind of flatline. We were seeing some great stuff from Zero when they were on the CT side. He was doing a fantastic job of solo holding B against pressure situations, but where's he been for this half?
Yeah, I mean, if you can't really get out from plant situations, even if you can't even force that situation, then fundamentally you're just not attacking correctly. End of story.
Absolutely. Nice and simple.
Yeah, but it is, right? It's not rocket science after all, is it? It's Counter-Strike.
So we're still waiting for the pause to conclude, but I mean, here's the issue, for me at least, looking at it right now, the money is not really great for HellRaisers. You're looking at an average between 3.4 and 4,000 for each player. So some are in good enough positions to really justify force-ups. Some are going to downgrade to Galils. Some of they want utility may have to go down to Tech 9s and whatnot. So
I think the best choice, like I wouldn't force into this 100%. I would just get the Tech 9 armors, and you can do that execute and try to force a bomb plant. And if you get lucky, you can win around if the CGs play overconfidently on that bomb site and don't fall back to play that retake.
But even so, this pause is being used very late. They're going to do probably the half buy, as you said, here in this round. But assuming they don't end up winning that one, then immediately an OpTic are on match point. Your entire pause has been taken for, at most, like 1 round strategical advantage.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know, but at the point, like the thing is that they should have done this way earlier, obviously, just because of the fact that they haven't been, like I said, not even managing to get through the after plant situations. So obviously, the way they've been, like they have the fundamentals now, they have all the basically the theory of the strategies they want to have are there. They have the smoke placements and whatnot, but the actual execution is like once you're trying to get to the bomb sites, it's just lackluster so far.
So they have called to resume the game, and it's going to be going back into things now here. OpTic have come back in a very big way, and now it's HellRaisers' turn to try and strike back here. It's got to be done in these next 2 rounds, otherwise it's going to be OpTic going to the major, as this is a winner's matchup.
Well, considering the way they've been playing recently, I mean, it wouldn't be the biggest of surprise if you're honest, but still, HellRaisers were the ones to be favored in this matchup. But it's still not over, obviously. They can still make it happen, as it is 14-12 scoreline, and they seem to be HellRaisers right now making their way towards that B bomb set. Plenty of utility to work with here for them.
So OpTic focusing 3 on the B bomb site this time. It's HellRaisers going all in on the B bomb site. Nobody even watching for mid flanks or anything. 4 in the B halls, BonTic pushing early over here towards Checker to try and hold some control there, and so they have an alternate angle to push in from. Good volley rush, a little bit late on tossing that out, but thankfully only takes about 25 damage there, so it's not the worst story in the world. It's Angel actually that ends up getting under some pressure, runs into his own Molotov that's been tossed out by the CTs there, so he's going to be down to 28 HP. They move in for some control, but Mixwell already responding, taking down one of these players. Sticko and Zero finding 2, Daps a little bit further back, nicely done, finds a second through the smoke, but he's going to go down to 0. It's into a 2-on-2. Nap, though, actively hunting players that are out in the open on the site, but there's nothing to be found as, again, HellRaisers freeze up after these big trades.
Still have a nice angle here from HellRaisers. 1 in Checkers, 1 on bomb site. So if BonTic can be the first one to initiate the fight, then Zero can be there to help him out. Here comes her retake right now. BonTic's gonna get it down as well, as is Zero, and that's gonna be 15 for OpTic.
Again, HellRaisers, like I said before, just not really wanting to move their positions to maybe hold better secure places that they could try and take down OpTic against. So you can see them trying to hold themselves on the site where they planted the bomb, and the second player that was further back there inside of Checkers, but they were never able to find anything better than that. So OpTic already know where they are upon the retake, and with that, they take them down 1 and 2 extremely quickly, and now we go on to match point. This, though, is what the pause was for. This is hopefully what we see now from HellRaisers, something new to try and bounce back. And they've got to do 3 in a row now to take this to OT.
It's not going to be easy, considering the way they've been playing so far here on this T side. It's got to be more effective with their executes. Right now, we have 2 players, again, play that B bomb side. They have left OpTic, that middle, very much open. They are boosting here on this A bomb side as well. Meanwhile, HellRaisers side, still very similar to what we've seen previously. All except for BonTic. He's playing very up close. Sticko, though, is going to get one through the door, but Nafly with a nice reaction. Is he going to get another? In fact, he might be going down himself as he's down to 8 HP.
Again, back into a 3-on-3. Trades coming out evenly for both sides. HellRaisers looking for a way into the A-bomb site. Need to be careful, though, of Mixwell, as he's lining up a very, very big flank. And if they're not watching out for that, that's going to spell doom. But Naf, what the hell is he doing there?
I don't know. Didn't have to do that at all. He could have just stayed in the door.
He's going to lose himself. And now, because of the fact that Mixwell had chosen to leave this site and look for a flank, they've opened it up. And it's going to be free control with a +1 man advantage. Daps having to move in very quickly up towards Highway so that nobody can get control of that and deny him the presence here behind the shed. And as for Mixwell, he's still on a very long journey at the moment, moving in through the squeaky hallway. We'll see what he can do. He may be able to catch Oscar for free, but Daps has got to draw attention first here. Rounding the corner, nobody peeking him just as of yet. He's not going to be able to see all that much, but here's the first one, grabs it, but at the same time, Oscar took his teammate down just before he died, and it's Zero waiting in the corner, picks up the headshot. HellRaisers aren't done fighting just as of yet.
Oscar, if he hadn't been able to get that kill, that could have still gotten really interesting there in the end, but that's going to be HellRaisers living another round here. Picking that one up, but OpTic Obviously, still money to buy into this one. Very too close for comfort, has to be said on that one as well for HellRaisers, but still managing to make it happen. That's all that matters. It's rounds on the board.
And so now here, it looks much of the same from HellRaisers, with mid-control coming out now early on in the round, when for OpTic shying away from that, which has become a bit of a common theme, in all honesty, for kind of both of our teams in the way that their CT sides have been played. Not going to be taking those risks early on. They may rotate a player over to check for info, about 10 or 15 seconds, but definitely not placing anybody there initially because of how quickly players tend to come out and how quickly a single CT can be overwhelmed if he's just there defending it. So Angel starting to check over here towards Highway, but the guys from OpTic also know that there's a presence in mid. So they've started to smoke things off here, and they're not going to let them see through to the site just as of yet.
Well, other than Angel being up here in Highway, everyone else is still just waiting for what to do, to be honest with you. But you would think maybe they would either hit that A-bomb set or fake that A-bomb set and leave Angel here for the flank. Seems like it's going to be that A-hit coming in. And Angels might be the one to initiate that fight, or be the one to get the trains coming in.
Moving in now, 45 seconds left on the clock. HellRaisers are ready to start the take now, but OpTic, again, I've already started to shift some players over here, and in a minute, too, Daps is going to take the duels back out over there towards middle. Naf, though, trying to hold them back first. He spots the presence. Oscar picking up the first frag on a mix wall, but Angel moving in there. He's going to find another one. Stanislav spraying 2 in a row, though. 0, along with Stiko going down, with Oscar and Angel picking up 2 more kills. It's now down to a 1-on-3 rush. Back out here to some great damage to Angel. He's got only 2 HP left. That Molly, though, not really going to go into such a great position. And as he turns his back, Oscar spots him, takes it back, and HellRaisers now battling still. 14 of 15, 1 more away, and we're in OT.
Wow. Well, apparently they disregarded the fact that Angel got up there, because I'm pretty sure they heard he was Highway. But in the heat of the moment, they didn't realize that an Angel managing to capitalize on his positioning as that A-hit came in. Like you said, it's just 1 round away now for OT, and OpTic's economy pretty much into shatters. 2 Famasas, a Deagle, 5-7 on a CZ in play for them.
So it may be looking like overtime now, but we've seen teams pull off victories with much, much less in hand. And OpTic have, up to this point at least, looked to be in good shape, but closing out that last round has proven to be quite a big issue for these guys. And now they've only got 1 more chance to try and do it out here. Moving quickly inside of A main, and we can see some great damage going out onto Oscar. Sticko opening the doorway, but also opening a portal to hell as Mixwell finds the Wandig, takes down Sticko, and all of a sudden HellRaisers are going to be down a man.
Yeah, a little bit questionable there by Stiko. Open the door and just full on spraying as Nafla's going to get 2 of his own as well. It's just going to be up to Oscar and Zero to make this happen in a 2-on-5 against a force buy. Not a great force buy at all.
This would be the round, right?
Wow,
where they pull
like
it together.
this.
2-on-5 now as OpTic hold a big edge. Also some guns being retrieved, but Oscar, he's not done fighting just as of yet.
This is the kind of round, this is a situation you might not want to peek middle. You just hold the bomb sites and let them commit. You will always be equal in numbers or 1-up in numbers when they attack that bomb site. Not anymore, obviously.
For HellRaisers, back out towards mid now. We're going to see if they can get lucky and find a second peek here towards Z. I don't believe they'll be obliged, though. Rush just crossing over to try and find his way to the B-bomb site. And still no decision on a site take being made just as of yet either. Zero going to move in, going for the split, and it is going to be a B take, but Zero has a good position, and there's currently nobody at the trunk angle, so Zero, if he's quiet about this, he's going to walk right in and have a huge angle advantage. Dropping down, trying to take the duel with Rush from CT, but it doesn't work out, and Rush finds the final 2 frags. That's going to be it. OpTic Gaming win things out 16-14. They're going to the major. OpTic stickers are in the game. And with that, that settles our 3rd team here.
Wow. I wouldn't have thought that would happen, but I mean, OpTic definitely has been on the rise recently, has to be said. And HellRaisers, like I said, they're a bit of an up and down team. I mean, even during one game span, they can be like really good at points and then just be crumbling down around later. So a bit of that happening. Obviously, the last round just being losing against that kind of a force buy in this kind of a situation, definitely never. It's just not just good, is it?
It would happen right there in that round. But we'll leave it to the analysts to discuss about that. Take it away, Machine.
And that's it. That's OpTic going to the major. They're going to be going to Cologne. And HellRaisers will fight on once again. Thanks very much, Natu and Blue. I've got Metis and Vendetta hanging out to talk a little further about Cash and what we did experience there. What is going on with these, first, dramatically one-sided halves? It's just one or the other. And second, teams unable to close. Fortunately, OpTic finding it in the final one, but that had overtime written all over it.
It really did, but in the end it came, well, the T side of HellRaisers just being their downfall.
Yeah.
not the most, I guess, experimental half from their end. A lot of A hits and a lot of brick walls they ran into. One particularly in the name of Mixwell, because he became just an unstoppable force or an immovable object really on that A bomb site for the better part of OpTic's CT half. That was a massive part of it.
And of course, Vince, that's someone that you highlighted yesterday, hoping to see better things from.
Yeah, early this tournament, he not necessarily blew me away, but the last couple maps they've played, he's definitely stepped up. He landed a crazy shot in the mid-air on quad MBK spot as well. So the guy was playing phenomenal on A. We saw at the end as well, HellRaisers seemed a bit dismayed. I'm not entirely sure what happened. They started to push into A main one after the other. So Nafly landed a beautiful double spray down with a FAMAS in the 30th round, and it felt like desperation at that point for HellRaisers.
Yeah, actually, it was kind of fun to see the fact that OpTic played a CT side that was very similar to what HellRaisers would do normally in their CT side. So quite surprising to see how caught off HellRaisers were by that completely, time after time again. And you could see Mixwell setting up for that pop flash into main, Nav and Co just running in. Nearly every single time they did that, they found something that they could benefit from. If it was an empty A main, they would push forward and they could get the extra rotation over towards B, which again strengthens that B hold so much. So just extremely surprising to see that HellRaisers were not really aware how to actually adapt to that when they've been doing it so much themselves.
And I mean, we have to just review the run from OpTic. I mean, it was said in the green room, like if you actually look at the games they had to play, it was just a battle versus CIS. And they win it out. You know, maybe they'll just go meet Na'Vi in the major now as they've managed to secure that spot. We are slowly working our way towards an interview, but I do want to quickly reflect upon what's going on in regard to these very weak T sides. I'm trying to think of a team that has kind of found a lot of success on their attacking side, but it hasn't been too many this qualifier.
Say Tyloo maybe. One of the exceptions to that on Cash. They had
other than the force buying.
But they did it for the Immortals game, but otherwise they got stumped pretty hard as well. I guess
Cloud9 struggled on Mirage. They couldn't get anything running really on their T side.
Yeah, really, if we're talking about strong T side, it has really to be down to the games that were really one-sided. So you can go Envy versus Splice or Envy versus Immortals on their T side on Dust 2, like that type of thing. But otherwise, it's been pretty good CT sides and not so much from the T sides.
The Nuke match is the only one that actually
has.
Yeah,
HellRaisers on Nuke,
yeah. They both got like 11 rounds or something on their T side.
Well, I mean, another map for HellRaisers, of course, Nuke was taken away this time. HellRaisers didn't want to take that gamble again, especially versus OpTic, a team that have really demonstrated their competence on Nuke. OpTic are another team now added to the pile going to Cologne, and we're going to hear from Daps, who had a breakout performance yesterday. Let's see what he has to say with Mitch.
Yes, on that note, I will bring that up with him in just a moment, Alex. I'm here with Daps as well, who probably still processing everything now as well, thinking ahead towards a major already, no doubt. But you guys have done it. But let's go back a little bit and talk about this game as well. You guys there. You know what? Let's talk about the whole tournament to start with. You guys have actually had to play 4 CIS teams in a row here, which is a little bit interesting, I guess. But we've seen some different styles and different approaches put up against you. Let's talk about how you guys have progressed through this tournament. How do you feel you've grown or progressed, if at all, which I have to assume you have?
I feel like we've played pretty consistently throughout the last 3 weeks, at least, coming up to this event. I don't think we did anything different than we have been leading up to this match, but one of the teams we really didn't want to play was HellRaisers because they beat us in the map pool. They have better maps against us, and they play a style that we really hate playing against. So I think we did progress to the point where we ended up beating HellRaisers, and that was impressive for us, at least.
Can you tell me what this style is and maybe why you struggle up against it? Because it sounds like it's quite different to what you saw from the other CIS teams you went up against previously.
Yeah, so against a team like Flipside, they go a lot slower, which is a play style we play better against. And HellRaisers is they play more like a North American team, I feel. So like if we play against like a Liquid or TSM or something, they play more fast pace. And that's a style that we kind of struggle with, which is why we get upset in NA. Like any NA team we play against, we could potentially lose due to that. So I think just the fast-paced play style is something we struggle against, and we're really happy that we were able to counter it this time.
Absolutely, definitely went to the wire though. We saw some great moments, especially even yesterday as well. I don't want to throw it back too far away from this game, but you were a man possessed on train. That was just some of the most freakish half I've ever seen, I think. For you, do you consider that a standout performance? Were you like, holy crap, this was good for me? Or was there never any reflection? It was just get the job done?
Yeah, I felt good this whole tournament, to be honest. Even today I didn't do that well, but I felt pretty good. But Yeah, I got a lot of eco kills yesterday, so my stats might have been a bit padded, but I played pretty well yesterday, and I'm just happy we made the major.
Absolutely. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that just can't wait to see you there as well. We'll have to wait and see who joins you after this one. Thank you so much, Daps. It's always a pleasure to have you here as well. After the break, we've got a rematch of two teams we haven't seen since the Global Esports Cup. We'll tell you all about it right after the break.